As we move into 2017, can you outline for us where we find ourselves nationally?
Well, first of all, I'd like to wish everybody a happy new year. Hopefully, we will be enjoying a very good 2017. It is a period still of some national uncertainty. Obviously, we're expecting negotiations to start in terms of Brexit later on in the spring. We've also got continued austerity that's now into a sixth year, approaching a seventh year, likely to continue until 2020. So budgets will unfortunately continue to be tight. But I think despite that, Durham County Council is in a robust position to move forward, and there's a lot going on.
When you say we're in a robust position, financially, what sort of a position are we in?
Well, we have had to save already about £180 million from council budgets, and we expect to have to save another 70 million. So these are very large figures, but I think it's important that people are reassured that the council isn't about to fall over tomorrow. These are big reductions, but they're managed reductions. We've always been able to save the amount of money that we've needed to save each year, so we're living within our means. Yes, we have had to reduce the headcount, the number of staff, and obviously we've had to deliver services differently, but the council's still very much here, and a large range of services are still being delivered, and we're working with partners to try and bring more money and jobs into County Durham.
We've actually had some third-party endorsement as well of the fact that Durham is in a strong position. Tell us about that.
Yes, at the end of last year, a government minister specified two new unitary councils, Durham and Wiltshire, as being particularly good examples of new unitaries being created and working well despite all the challenges that there have been. So it's quite nice to get that endorsement directly from a government minister after a few years as Durham as a unitary council. Times are challenging, but we continue to receive outside endorsements in terms of people thinking that we are moving in the right direction. So things at times look difficult, they do look challenging, but there are positives as well that we can talk about in terms of County Durham moving forward.
So on a positive note, there is a really exciting cultural programme for 2017, isn't there? Can you talk us through what will be the highlights for yourself?
Well, one of the highlights will come at the end of the year, which will be the return of Lumiere for the fifth time to Durham. And the success of Lumiere has grown year on year so that it is now the largest light festival in the UK, and that's a fantastic accolade for Durham to have in terms of the country's largest event of this kind. 200,000 people, bringing in a boost to the economy, but also a lot of people involved in the community as well, and I'm sure there will be again this time, contributing to Lumiere, making it the success that it is. So I think that's something really to look forward to later in the year. We're also looking forward to Cllr running for the second time this coming summer. A tremendous success last year in terms of packed houses each night to the show, which is, we believe, the largest outdoor performance there has been since the opening and closing ceremonies of the Olympic Games 5 years ago. So again, a fantastic thing for County Durham to be able to point to Cllr and say this is something that's happening here in County Durham with a lot of people involved, particularly in the Bishop Auckland area. So again, something to look forward to there. The Cathedral had already opened their Open Treasure exhibition last summer, and that will continue, and they'll also be displaying this summer some of the surviving copies of Magna Carta, which obviously date back many hundreds of years, very historical documents displayed in the same place for the first time. So that's something to watch out for as well.
This month we've also got the opening of CM Activity Centre for young people in the area, 14 to 25-year-olds, and that will provide sort of adventure activities, including sort of canoeing and climbing and co-steering. How important are these sort of things at local level?
I think it's very important that things involve people in the community. So some of the developments over the last few years in Seaham have been very exciting in terms of the developments there, in terms of the marina, in terms of some of the new units that have opened. But this will be another step in terms of the activity centre, involving young people, giving young people opportunities to do things they might not have otherwise had the opportunity to do. So I think that's a very significant development in the early months of the year, and another step in the regeneration of Seaham.
We've also got the 125th anniversary of the Bowes Museum and lots of activities planned around that, I know. And something close to your own heart, Seven Hills Research and Study Centre is open, and we'll have the semi-permanent DLI exhibition up on Palace Green. Are you looking forward to that one?
Yes, I think, again, these are very significant events moving forward. The new Research and Study Centre for the DLI opened at Seven Hills at the end of last year. A lot of people are involved in that in terms of bringing out all the artefacts that are now there, that can be researched, that can be looked at, and very much encourage people to go along, to make an appointment to see what's available there, because more is in fact available than was in the past. And that will be even more the case in March, when a new semi-permanent exhibition opens at Palace Green Library as well. So again, that's a very exciting event taking place in the new year, as is the anniversary coming up for the Bowes Museum as well, another jewel in the crown for County Durham that attracts a lot of visitors nationally and internationally, and we'll be very much looking forward to seeing what's put on this summer to celebrate the anniversary.
So alongside the cultural programme for County Durham, the council itself also has a huge investment programme to support communities. What would you say will be the highlights of our regeneration programme this year?
Well, just at the end of last year and now at the start of this year, we're bringing forward our revised master plans for all of the main towns in County Durham. So we need to emphasise this is not just Durham City, although there is a master plan for Durham City, but it is also a master plan for each of the towns, whether that's Consett, Stanley, or Chester Street in the north of the county, whether it's Seaham or Peterlee in the east, whether it's Barnard Castle or Bishop Auckland, Shildon, or all of our towns, which all have a major master plan. And that's an opportunity for local people through the area action partnerships to discuss those master plans, to maybe discuss anything that's missing, to see if we can add to those moving forward. All our towns are different, they all have a distinct offer, there are things happening in all of our towns, but it's important to engage people in what's happening, to get it right, so that we can move forward with confidence. So I think that's something that's very important, and it's very important that although this is now one unitary council in Durham, that we very much focus on all of our individual towns and city, in the case of Durham City, and do the best we can for all of our localities. So again, I very much encourage people to get involved in that process through their area partnerships, to discuss those plans for each town and to move forward as we do into the future.
Another sort of community-based programme, if you like, is Spruce Up. That'll be continuing throughout 2017, I think.
Yes, we're going to have in the spring a initiative where we move around the county tidying up some of our areas, towns and villages. This builds on previous success in terms of big spring cleans, again, which has happened with the support of local people and community groups. It's been very successful in the past, and we very much hope that it will be again. I know that a large number of areas across the county take great pride in their appearance, and we want to help with that as well from a council point of view. We want to keep Durham clean and tidy, we want to keep it looking as best as it can be, and the Spruce Up initiative is very much aimed at that, and so again I'd ask for people to watch out for details of that in the spring.
And of course, we're rapidly growing a reputation nationally and to some extent internationally as a centre of innovation. And we're putting 7 million more into a net park expansion this year. Can you tell us any more about that?
Well, Net Park has grown quite successfully over the last few years to be gradually growing the number of buildings that are there. It's the home now to international companies such as Chromec, and it's great to see that there'll be another expansion, so more buildings going up, again providing more grow-on space for local start-up companies and businesses. So there'll be a ceremony to mark that groundbreaking ceremony in a few weeks' time, and then we'd expect the buildings to go up after that. What all this is about is trying to bring jobs into County Durham, trying to improve the number of jobs that we've got, building on the successes at Net Park, building on the successes of bringing in investors such as Hitachi, who are now very much up and running and moving up to full capacity in their new plant in Newton Aycliffe, building on the successes where we've had companies moving into Seaham and other parts of the county. We need to keep this going. New jobs, better jobs is part and parcel of our key aim of economic regeneration across County Durham. It's absolutely central in terms of moving County Durham forward.
And of course, next month we'll have a celebration of our This is Durham Place of Light branding, which is all about inward investment and celebrating what is fantastic about where we live and work. Lots to look forward to, would you say, in 2017?
There is a lot to look forward to. The Place of Light branding, the initiative, aims to bring together a lot of what's great about County Durham. So that could be some of the festivals that take place, such as Lumiere, but it could also be, for example, some of the great work of our companies, such as Thorn in Spennymoor, or the university, who do such an amazing amount of research in some of these areas. A lot across County Durham is brought together under that heading. We launched it at the end of 2016. We're going to do a national launch in 2017 because sometimes we feel County Durham hides its light under a bushel. We maybe don't shout as much as we should do about some of the great things we've got on our doorstep here in County Durham. So that's what we're going to do as we move forward in 2017, and I very much hope that people look out for these initiatives and, like myself, will very much talk about the great things we've got to offer right across County Durham.